Howdy folks, welcome back to Kdog'S Movies. I thought I'd come into the movie room and actually do this review. I'm going to rethink how I'm doing the Kdog movies. What I'm going to do is, instead of watching the movies together, I'm just going to talk about the movies and just recommend them, and recommend that you go watch it and check it out for yourself. Now, there's a movie I've been wanting to do for quite some time, and I remember seeing this movie in the theater when it originally played. Now, it only played for a limited time where I lived. It only played for 1 week, and it was kind of a movie that was a blink and you miss it, but got tremendous critical praise, and it has such a good moral message behind the film and a lot of life lessons that you can learn from it. And it's about family and perseverance and the love of a family, and just an overall decent film. And now this is strange coming from, I'm sorry, I'm rubbing my face, but this is strange coming from the director, because the director is not known for such material. He's more known for doing something that's completely strange and weird and just overall craziness. The movie I'm talking about came out in 1999. It was very critically acclaimed. Matter of fact, it was the last role of this actor. It was the last role that he ever did before he passed away, and what a way to go! What am I talking about? 1999's The Straight Story, released by Walt Disney Pictures in 1999, directed by David Lynch, and starring Richard Farnsworth and Sissy Spacek. It's quite an interesting movie, and it's a great movie. It's not something that you would normally see out of David Lynch. It's a very slow-paced, down-to-earth, very life lesson learned, very good moral film. Again, it was released by Walt Disney Pictures. Again, it kind of seems strange that Disney would pick this up, but I think they picked it up because of the moral aspect, and of course, the story is about and it's based on a true story, as a matter of fact. It's based on a story about an old man by the name of Alvin Straight. He's 73 years old. He finds out that his brother has had a massive stroke. And the thing with that is, him and his brother had not spoken to each other in several years. Matter of fact, decades. And in order to heal things up between him and his brother, he feels that he needs to go out to travel to see his brother from a small town in Iowa to a small town in Wisconsin. Now, what makes the story unique is that Alvin Straight himself is in poor health. He cannot drive. He doesn't like taking the bus. He doesn't like someone else doing the driving for him. So he sets out on a journey to go see his brother by riding his riding mower with a trailer attached to it, and traveling from Iowa to Wisconsin riding a John Deere lawnmower, and just making that journey to see his brother. And of course, he's hauling a trailer on the back where he sleeps in and keeps all his his belongings and food and whatnot. He camps out along the side of the road, and of course he runs into several people on this journey, and I think they learn a lot from him, and he learns from them, and they learn from him. Like the first person that he stops and meets is a young girl that's run away from home because she's found out that she's pregnant, and she's scared, and she's afraid that that her family will disown her and doesn't want her. But he talks to her and says, you know what, they may not be happy with what you've done, but they're not going to abandon you or your little problem. That's all he says. And he doesn't really have to say a word, but he knows what's going on with her. And that's just one particular scene. There's also a scene where he runs into a priest, and there's a scene where where the lawnmower breaks down at a certain point, and he ends up having to stay a few days with some people that he doesn't even know, but they've been generous enough to let him sleep out in their backyard, even though they offer him a bed and to come inside the house, and he refuses to do so because he said, this is a journey I must take, and this is the way I've got to do it. Alvin is a very, very stubborn man in terms of this character. But and of course the payoff is well worth it, and of course he does get to see his brother. I just kind of showed you the whole movie, but it's really nothing really comes as a surprise, but it's a movie that you need to watch, and just for the life and the moral lessons that is taught in the film. Like I said, it's based on a true story. The film came out in 1999, but it actually tells you when it actually happened. Filmed along the actual route that Alvin Strait traveled in 1994. So David Lynch and his producing team was actually very, very careful and planned out that they would actually shoot in continuity with Richard Farnsworth on this tractor going the same exact way that Alvin took to go see his brother. Yeah, it's a true story. Now, speaking of taking journeys, there is a little bit of a story to this movie. When I saw it, I saw it with my dad and my grandmother, and of course, we went to see this movie at the Muncie Mall Theater, which was only a 3-screen theater. It was the last movie I ever saw in the theater. And I want to go through the video where I actually explained what happened in the whole situation. And we actually took a little journey ourselves. And I even kind of recreate it for you a little bit. So I'm just going to let... You see this building right here? I'm here at the Muncie Mall, and this building I just showed you, this one right here, was the Muncie Mall Theater. The last movie I ever saw in this theater has been closed for about 15 years. The last movie I saw in this theater, and it was such a memorable moment because I had to do this, okay? The last movie I ever saw in that theater was The Straight Story, directed by David Lynch,
starring Richard Farnsworth, released by Walt Disney Pictures. Now, here's the thing. What made this event so memorable, because it was such a great movie. Richard Farnsworth is really, really great in the film. You'll hear in my review what I think of the film. But coming out of this theater, we had to walk around this mall. Because where I am parked at is where you would normally park. As you can see here, there's parking spaces. And if you look at the theater itself, there are doors to where you would exit the theater and walk out to your car. Matter of fact, off to the side here, it's closed off. They've cemented it, but right in this area right here, I know my finger's huge, there was an entrance to the mall that way. And that's what they encouraged people to use when the film was, if you went to a late show here at the theater, because the mall would be closed. Well, my mother had to have a Sears credit card bill paid, and so we went to Sears to pay the bill. But my dad parked at the Sears store. I'll show you here in a moment how far this is by vehicle. But anyway, he parked over at the Sears location, and we walked inside the mall to the theater entrance. Instead of parking here at the theater parking lot and walking back towards Sears to do what we needed to do and walk back to the theater, he decided to just leave his truck parked at the Sears parking lot portion. So, yeah. Okay, let's pretend we've just come out of the theater. So, yeah, here we go. Pull around, and we are going to show you how far away the Sears is. Okay, here's the theater. We're coming around. Another thing to remember is that it was freezing cold that night. And we're walking nothing but sidewalk around the mall. And I'm actually going pretty fast for, walking speed. I'm just showing you how far we had to go. Yeah, and we're walking all sidewalk. The Macy's was just being built at the time. And we had to walk all this way. And I'm going pretty fast for walking. I mean, you can't walk at this speed. It'd be pretty fast, a little too fast for you. Right now, I'm at almost 2 minutes. And right here was, I'm trying to think, where am I at? I think this is where one portion of where Sears was. No, we're not. No, we're not. I'm wrong. Here's where the one part of Sears, this is where their automotive care center was. And you gotta imagine we're still walking along this way. But this is not where we parked. This was one side of the Sears store. There's where the automotive center was. Yes, we even had to walk around that. So here we go. Right at 3.5 minutes. Now this is by vehicle to where his truck was parked probably around this area or so. Yeah, there's the Sears, where the Sears was.
So needless to say, it became a journey for us as well. And it was bitter cold that night. I remember it was late fall, and it was like the temperature dropped into like the teens, or like the 20s or the teens, and we had to walk all that way to get back to my dad's pickup truck. So yeah, there you go. The Straight Story from 1999. Check it out. It is available on Disney Plus. I just checked it out. Just looked that up and make sure my facts was correct. It is available on Disney Plus. So look it up and watch it. Now, I will forewarn you that it is a very slow-paced movie. So don't expect anything, whippy snappy out of a typical Disney film. It is very, very slow-paced. But it needs to be slow-paced. There's a perfect reason why. So, from me to you, see you later.
How far'd you come?
From Iowa.
My God, you must be thirsty.